Hello, I'm Ruth.
And I'm Fran.
And we're two of the archivists here at the John Gray Centre. We've recently put on this exhibition, The King, the Queen and the Vicious Trumpet, which showcases some of the archives which have recently returned from the National Records of Scotland to the John Gray Centre. The John Gray Centre opened about 2 years ago, and before that there was no proper accommodation for archives in East Lothian, but now we're able to keep our own archives in Haddington, the county town. But before we show you any of the documents in the exhibition, we'd like to tell you who the King, the Queen and the Vicious Trumpet were.
So, the King in our title is King Robert I. He is more commonly known as Robert the Bruce, and he granted Haddington as this charter here, which you can see. This charter dates back to 1318 and it is a confirmation charter. Haddington by this point had already been a borough for about 200 years and they actually lost their original charter. So this is just confirming their rights as a borough, which included the right to hold a market and therefore to make money for the borough. Haddington at one point had one of the largest grain markets in Scotland and gave a lot of money to the Crown. So here we have the original charter granted by Robert the Bruce to Haddington, dating back to 1318, recently returned to the county after a spell at the National Records of Scotland. And you can see here they undertook some conservation work and repackaging and reboxing. And also to the seal here, the bottom half of the seal remains and we can see King Robert sitting on his throne.
The Queen is Mary Queen of Scots. One of the most significant connections between East Lothian and Mary Queen of Scots was the signing of the Treaty of Haddington in 1548 at Haddington Abbey, which promised the then 6-year-old Mary in marriage to Francois, the Dauphin and son of King Henry II of France. This was a particularly turbulent time in Scottish history. The 1540s saw the period of the rough wooing when King Henry VIII of England was trying to get the Scots to promise Mary in marriage to his son. And during the period when the treaty was signed, Haddington was actually under siege from the English, and this would be the longest siege in Scottish history, lasting a period of 2 years' time. I want to show you here the original copy of the document we have on display. This is a document signed by Mary and her then husband Henry Lord Darnley in 1565. It is a letter to the people of Haddington asking them to stay at home from various raids they were taking part in. One of the most exciting things for us is that we can actually see the signatures of Mary and Henry. It was signed in October 1565, which was only 3 months after Mary's marriage to Darnley, what we hope might have been quite a happy period in her life.
And last, but by no means least, is our Vicious Trumpet. Elizabeth Golightly and her friend Agnes Blake were entertaining dragoons in their house. And this case came to court. They were accused of unclean and lewd behaviour, and Elizabeth Golightly was called a vicious strumpet by the court. So she is named in the Black Book for recording criminals, and the Black Book itself is on display as part of the exhibition. Both ladies were banished from the town in their punishment, however, both did return. And Elizabeth in particular was harboured by her mother for a period of time, and when they were eventually caught, they were both sentenced to 3 years at the House of Correction in Edinburgh. Not a pleasant experience. So here we have the original Black Book for recording criminals, and Elizabeth and Agnes are the first case in this book. It's by no means full, but there are some interesting cases in here. This is one of our favourite and most referred to items. This is the Haddington Criminal Register from 1895 to 1901. It really records kind of minor crimes, breach of the peace, assault, that sort of thing, all exceptionally local, all based in the streets surrounding the John Gray Centre. Now, last year we asked our artist Lucy Roscoe to do some illustrations around this, which makes it much more accessible to school kids and the like. And these are the illustrations displayed in the exhibition that she came up with. One of my personal favourite collections that we hold here are those relating to the poor. In the days before the welfare state, the parish was responsible for assisting those in need, either through sickness or because of unemployment or old age. We have a lot of records relating to this. And the section that you see here is actually from the Parochial Board Minute Books of North Berwick. It is telling telling us that there was 2 boys in 1875 sent to the Mars training ship, which was a ship just moored off Dundee. So these 2 boys, William Dishington and John Black, were sent there to the training ship. I know John Black did come home, and a lot of these boys ended up with a naval career from it.